John Piner from Mojave Valley Daily News. We're getting ready for the Colorado River Union High School board meeting. There's one item agenda, so we're going to turn it over to President Carrie Burgess and see what happens.
Okay, thank you very much. We will open our meeting with item 1.1 roll call.
Richard Cardone here.
Carrie Fearing here.
Lori Crampton here.
And Carrie Burgess here, all present and accounted for. Can everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, citizens present, please sign the attendance sheet and any call to the audiences. Okay, we will move on. Item 1.5, approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Ms. Crampton, motion. Dr. Cardin, second. Item 2.1, Wells Fargo line of credit.
So, Mr. President, we
Yes.
have before you the borrowing request as the district is seeking to increase the line of credit by $500,000 to the amount of $2 million.
Okay,
The agreement is in front of you for your discussion.
thank you.
I make a motion we approve this line of credit as presented.
Well, I just want to say one thing, and I will second that motion in a minute. I just want to, I read this one email from Ms. Hart to Mr. Stevens, and it says here, this was done last Tuesday, and it said that, thanks Wade, no on the borrowing request, will be on the agenda on the 14th. I thought it should have been on sooner, but my superintendent made the call. So it looks like, and then Ms. Hart says that it looks like we may not need it, it's just a safety net. Now, it seems as if Ms. Hart took that to you certainly earlier than last Tuesday. But I guess you didn't want to put it on or bring it up any earlier?
No, in the day-to-day decision-making, I had to go through all of the expenses and all the revenues. Ronnie and I worked through the reconciliation, and as I began to look closer and closer at the numbers, I realized that it did need to be agendized. I wasn't going to make the call just because she told me to. I wanted to sit down and have a discussion with her, and once I did, the other thing is the bank needs to talk to me to authorize, and I have to put it on the agenda with the permission of the president.
And I would add, Mr. Flora did communicate this to me early, and I discussed the circumstances we were in about the safety net and to avoid this with the delay. And as a result of avoiding an additional meeting, I also agreed that we should wait until our normal monthly meeting, not expecting any headache passing it then.
Can I speak?
Yes, please.
So I just want to go over a couple of things from Monday's meeting. I appreciate that we got such a quick response to the question, so thank you. But what happens if the grants don't come in next month? So in your line items that you referred to, 3 of those were COVID-related items. Now you're also stating to us that we expect to have grants coming in. So my question to you is, what if they don't come in to pay off what we're approving tonight?
So I have extensive experience working in grants with the federal government, both in New Jersey and here in Arizona. The old joke is that there's 2 things that are certain in life, death and taxes. Those federal monies are entitlement grant monies, whether it's Perkins, Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, IDEA. Those are monies that we will get. They are guaranteed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. This is exactly why when we go to the bank and we're seeking a line of credit, they have absolutely no problem lending it to us because we are 110% guaranteed to get that money. The other issue is it's a drawdown feature. So we have to spend it, show them that we used it for what are known as allowable usage, and then they reimburse us. So that's where the cash flow comes in. I have to shell out the money and then document to the federal government that we'll get those grant monies. Tax revenues are the same thing. Everybody has to pay their property taxes. They come in on a scheduled basis. So we're anticipating those revenues, and it's other than, and I will admit, I've dealt with, we lost $100 million in property taxes after Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey. So things can happen. But I feel I would not bring this to the board if I did not feel 200% confident that we will use this money and it will help us bridge a cash flow to get to the revenues we anticipate.
And I feel that it's important to state, there's some confusion here. We did not delay this vote for the credit line as a whole. We delayed the vote for the extension of the credit line. So there's some miscommunication, so I want it to be very clear. The $1.5 million has already been approved and is being spent.
Correct.
What was brought to us on Monday was an extension of that credit line in the amount of $500,000.
Correct. And that's the same borrowing request you have in front of you.
Where do we decide to cap that? Like, at what point do we say as a board, like, COVID is happening, we're feeling it, right, the pinch. We don't have the money right now and we're 3 months into the new school year. What happens next year when we're really feeling the pinch? Are we going to then say we need more money from this credit line because our M&O funds are not sufficient enough to support us?
My recommendation will be based on, of course, enrollment, anticipated revenues, but I will tell you, the nasty word that I have to say is cuts. I would come to the board first with the approval of cutting expenditures, and I would propose various ways of doing that. And I look out at the audience and I'll say, they're never easy. Cuts are never easy. But my next recommendation would be, and Ronnie and I have already been talking about, where can we cut expenditures? Because if enrollment doesn't continue to grow, revenues will decline. And with declining revenues, the last thing I want to do is borrow any more money. And I am a very fiscally prudent operator, and that's my honest answer. I do not want to I want revenues to go up and expenditures to go down. And that's what I'll be working for every single day.
Okay. So Ed had stated in Monday night's meeting that he has events that are now scheduled in the field house, which we are very excited about. We foresee some money coming in there to hopefully get us out of that negative number that we were caught off guard with. So with that being said, Mr. Flora, I'm going to direct this question to you. Can we use profit from the field house to go to our M&O funds and the line of credit?
So today I reached out to our bond counsel and to our attorney, and I'm inviting them to both come and meet with the board in its entirety to explain those details, because I think that it's best that you hear it from the expert. I have many years on Wall Street, background in bonds, taxable bonds, restrictions on revenues, etc. But I don't think I feel well versed enough right now tonight to have that discussion. And while it may have some consequence in the future, I don't believe it's relevant to this decision at this point in time.
So you cannot answer that question for me, is what you're stating.
I can't answer it with 100% certainty, and I'd rather not misinform the board. I'd much rather have our bond counsel come and meet with all of you in the next few weeks.
So I just want to reiterate to everybody sitting out there, this delay was meant for you, not against you. We had a bomb dropped on us, and we decided as a board, or I decided as a board, that I couldn't let that go. And so I'm asking questions for the benefit of you, our students, and our district as a whole. I am here for you. You are my constituents. I represent you, and that's all I am going to say about that. This never came down to me holding your payroll hostage. It was a delay in an increase for me to do my due diligence and make sure I got my answers that I needed to vote appropriately. And I hope that you understand that that question that I just asked your superintendent, he does not have an answer for it at this time, and that's an important question.
Yeah, I totally second that. I mean, from my standpoint, at that last meeting, we found out about a major accounting embarrassment, and oh, by the way, let's have a credit line increase, all in favor say aye, and we just weren't comfortable going ahead without answering some questions. Sort of like if two spouses have money trouble, one spouse bounces a check and comes in, hey, I bounced a check, but I've applied for this new credit card. And the other spouse doesn't say, okay, what's for dinner? They say, well, let's sit down and talk about this. And that's all we were trying to do. We weren't trying to delay anything. And, those spouses are going to still pay for their groceries next month, just like we're going to pay for the teacher's salary. So that's never going to be an issue. So just as long as that's clear.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything tonight because I was just going to call for the vote, but since everyone's going to have a lengthy conversation about it, I guess I'm going to say something too. I wasn't not doing my due diligence, it's just that I've been here for 10 years and every year we vote for a $1.5 million bond. That happens because of the grant funding and because of delayed tax funding. It's nothing unusual. It's the way that happens in school district business every year. I also don't feel the need to micromanage the way that everyone else does their job, and I believe and trust in sometimes in the way that the answers come to me and what happens just from experience, not from just one superintendent or another superintendent or another, just because I've been here for a while and I see that the way that business is done. Am I happy about having to increase the bond or the credit line? No. But the $749 of why we're ahead, $749 of usage on the credit line was very well explained to us and documented. So I wasn't uncomfortable about it. I'm not free with your money or loose with your money or not caring about it, but I can tell you right now, it's tough to borrow money in America. I mean, my husband and I were self-employed, and so just even try to refinance your house. They practically want your kidney. So they would not be loaning us this money unless they were positive that we had the ability to repay it. There is just such a negativity going on right now that just disturbs me, and such a questioning and an atmosphere that's coming from this board and this leadership that I feel is such a disservice to our employees and our students. It's the atmosphere in our country, and it's an atmosphere here now. And I can tell you that it's incredibly hard for me to remain here. But I do it because I serve you. I didn't feel the need to delay the vote the other night because that extra $500,000 is because of COVID-related things, and I don't think that we're going to need to do another increase yet again in the future. But you know what? I think that we're going to have to make some cuts. And the other thing is, I think we need to be more conservative about what our ADM is, because I don't like what happens when you get to this point and, we're always going to be borrowing on this credit line this time of year. That's a normal operating way of doing business for a school district. But I don't want us to have shortcomings like we do with, the drop in enrollment. So I think that anticipation in budgeting needs to happen sooner. But we are going to have cuts, and I hope that doesn't cause an increase in class sizes, because for me, the students and the education are why we are here. But lately, I don't feel like at our meetings that you see that. And I hope that we can see a direction here that it comes back to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is a motion on the table.
I second that motion.
Ms. Crampton motion, Dr. Cardinal second. Any other discussion?
I'm just gonna say, I think that we're all here for them. The budget is an important element that needs to be discussed, and I will not apologize for that. You say you don't like the negativity that the board has brought, this, that, and the other. But the fact remains, we are not doing our job if we don't ask the questions.
Nobody's saying anything about you asking
You
questions.
are-
There is a motion on the table. Can we just move on? Great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3.1, adjournment. I move that we adjourn. Second. All right, I motion, Dr. Cardone second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. Contentious at times. We kind of expected that was probably going to happen. They got the thing approved. We will dig into this a little bit further and have more information in tomorrow's daily news. Good night, everyone.